Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Mainstream Monday here on Horror Film Lovers. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I'm here with
John Ward.
John Ward. So John and I took a little break. We had we were supposed to do this last week, which you guys won't know because everything's coming out like when it should. But we were supposed to do this last week, and then this week we decided we're going to do this and we're going to do the ranking together. Well, not the together. It's going to be two separate videos, but we're
Right.
going to do them, as well. So, uh, I first of all, we're going to be talking about Insidious Chapter 2. And the mom there looks like she's trying to eat my head.
Yes. Yes, she does.
She does, but
She just needs to do a little like that, and she can go
nom
right
nom
down.
nom.
Yeah.
But so I picked that particular one because that's probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie, and we'll get to that because that's a very important scene in the movie. So I'm sure. But I guess to begin with, I first of all, I don't know if I'd even seen it. I thought I did, and I probably might have, but I'm just not sure. Because it's been
Yeah, I saw your text, but I didn't want to answer it because I don't like answering anything for the films that we're going to be reviewing because I figured
yeah.
we could just discuss them while we're doing it.
So so I wrote to you said I wasn't sure, and I was really impressed by it. So if I haven't seen it, I'm very impressed, and if I did see it, I think I'm more impressed than I probably was then,
I
because
love part two.
obviously I didn't remember it. What?
Oh, pardon me.
You love part two?
I love part two. Yeah.
Part two was really good. Like I really had a fun time with it, and what I was like a little curious about is like because I knew there's something wrong with Josh by the end of Insidious. They kind of set that up like he's he's not Josh, you know? And then I was like, well, where where could it go except for like you're scared of Josh the whole time? Like how are they gonna get back to the further and everything like that? And without Elise, right? So it was really funny because
But,
what?
but,
But hold on, yeah. So
yeah.
I see. So we in the beginning of the movie, you meet young Elise, who was cute as hell, like the girl who played
She
her,
is so hot.
and
Yeah.
she looked very much like a young Lynn Shay, which I was like, if that's what Lynn Shay looked like when she was younger, good
Hubba
God,
hubba.
yeah, oh Lord, we love you, Lynn Shay. Um, and then there was the young Barbara Hershey, and I was like, oh boy, these two ladies are really cute.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we're in for a fun little beginning. Because the opening has to have a little bit of a flashback and kind of explain some stuff that we didn't get explained in the first movie. Um, so then of
Which
course,
I have to ask you, is it necessary for us to see this if we already know it happened?
well, okay, because later it comes back. Some of the scenes come back, like him getting up and saying, I'll show you, and stuff
Yeah, we
like
find
that.
out what
All of
all
that
that is.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we find out all about because even Lynn Shay's character, Elise, is like, looks over and goes, oh, that's what that's about, which I'm like,
See, that's the stuff I love about this film is
no.
we see all that kind of like dimension stuff of the knocking on the door and
But that happened in the last movie too, right? If
but
I'm
we no
correct.
we didn't see the dad. That's where I was mistaken. Is I thought part one is it answered all that stuff. No, I don't think it did. This is the one where we see the
That's why I
dad
think I
coming
was a
up and
little confused when you were talking to me about it. Because you were
yeah,
saying stuff about him knocking on the door and things like that. I was
no,
like,
that's this one. Yeah,
I know.
part
I was
two.
like, I don't
Yeah,
remember, don't remember that happening. But
I'm old.
I went with you because I thought maybe I missed something, or whatever, and like maybe that was in the when he was in the further. But in this, yeah, they come back and that explained it. Like it was actually later that he notices the door and is just knocking on it and everything like that. And so and all of that was like he's just trying, like the whole time he's just trying to get out the further. But anyway, to go back to you meet a young Elise, you meet young. I keep saying Barbara Hershey. What is her name in the movie?
Oh,
It's
I have
gonna
it right here. Um,
Lorraine.
Lorraine. Okay.
Okay, so young Lorraine, young Elise, and then a younger. Because I think it was this. I almost feel like it was the same actor playing Carl. Was it, or was it a? Yeah, I think it was the. Nope, there's young Carl. Okay, so young Carl and later Carl, who by the way, that actor was in fucking She-Hulk. Did you
Oh
know
no,
that?
poor guy. No,
Yeah.
poor guy.
Oh man, where's his career gone? Ugh. Um,
I mean, that's supposed to be a good thing when you're in something for Marvel, but not these days.
not when it's the TV world.
Eh.
Not when it's, I'm saying not when it's the TV world. You're not supposed to.
She-Hulk didn't even get into the Nelson's ratings. That's how bad it was. It didn't even hit the Nelson's ratings.
Nelson's?
Yeah, the Nelsons. It's the TV ratings,
I thought that was Nielsen's.
or is it Nielsen's? Nielsen's, whatever, Nielsen's. So it's yeah, it didn't even make it into the Nielsen's.
Yeah. Anywho, so yeah, so poor guy. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I hope he got paid well.
I'm sure he did. I mean, he wasn't bad. I remember him. He was the boss, or whatever. And I was
Oh,
like,
I've seen pictures of him. Yeah, because
yeah,
I've watched the
he was a
I
good,
watch I watch hate reviews on those things.
you
So
probably
I
watched the pitch meeting and stuff too, but I don't know if they
oh yeah,
showed
pitch
that.
meeting, a guy named Hypnotic. I watch a lot of these that are hate reviewers. So they do like Velma and a
So
lot
you
of
don't have to
them.
watch it, right?
Yeah, yeah. I just get their commentary on it because they review the entire episode.
Yeah.
So
Which is fine because if you don't want to watch it, but you want to hear about it,
well, that's what the this one guy named Hypnotic is that he goes, no, let me of course he gets the views and everything, but he's like, no, let me watch them and review them, then just watch me, because they're basically the same length as the
right.
actual episode, and he just breaks it all down and hates on it, and I have no problem with that.
I just watched, speaking of which, I just watched Everything Wrong with Insidious 2 in 16 minutes or less. So I thought that was kind of funny because uh, you know, I was like, there's things wrong with this movie, and then he points them out. And I was like, oh God, there were issues with it, but
Nothing's
like
perfect.
nothing's perfect, but I the things he had issues with, I was like, I just didn't notice and wouldn't bother me.
Well, they do deep dives into these things. Like they'll sit there and go, credits 2 minutes long, ding, and then they put up that
Yeah. Well, the
even
one that they said like stuff was like that there's a picture that they had and it was a completely different picture from the last episode, the last movie or whatever. Like it was like somebody was there, but then somebody was over, like it was just wrong, and I'm like, okay, well,
well, like
continuity.
I mean, I've wondered with Conjuring 2 is when they're doing the Amityville stuff at the beginning, the picture of Ronald DeFeo Jr. and Senior is wrong. The painting,
Hmm.
it's a different painting. And I'm like, why is it a different painting? This is maybe they didn't get permission to use the
Maybe.
original painting, but that painting's been in like 1,000 documentaries. And I'm like, is there something behind this? Like, is if it's a fake painting saying that the Amityville horror is fake? Like I was like doing some like deep stuff with this, like trying to analyze like why was this fake? Like why out of all the pictures on the stairwell was this one fake? So yeah, I don't know.
I can't
Sometimes
give
it's
you the
interesting
answer
to
to
find
that.
these things. No, you can't unless
Um,
you're unless you're James Wynn.
I think he's won because I think he's already won.
I that is for people who don't know, that is my joke. I did a Birdemic 10-minute video and I kept calling the director of Birdemic James Wan.
So you had
And
to
I had
change. You had to write
so
James
I had to
Wynn down.
I had to write this. I had to write this down so I would stop saying James Wan.
Well, the way it says, the way it's written for James Wynn looks like it, like kind of really weird, and I get it.
It's a very well known and used name in Vietnam, and
Yeah, I
this
actually
is
know people who are the Wins.
yeah, this is how you say it is Win
Yeah,
win.
no, I know them.
But I'm
Like
like
I
doing
had people in my church named with the last name Wynn, so
yeah, so
like
I
it never bothered me.
yeah, I was trying to pronounce it like I'm like Nai why gone in why no why gone in. I'm like, oh fuck this. Let me just Google it, and everything came up win, and I'm like,
Hmm.
that's how you pronounce it, win. But then I kept calling him James Wan.
All right, moving on from that. So
Hey, at least it's
we're,
James
I
Wan
mean,
related.
but I mean, it is part of that because we are talking about a James Wan movie, you
Yes.
know. And by the way, there were some really great shots in this movie, but by it's pro. I liked Insidious number one visually better, you know? Like I just for some reason I didn't find this to be as visually pleasing as his other movies. I don't know. Really.
Well, maybe they weren't expecting Insidious to be such a hit, so they worked harder at it. And
Yeah.
and then when Insidious made $1 gazillion, they're like, oh well, okay, we could be a little mellow with this one, with
Well,
you know.
also if you think about it, he was making The Conjuring at the same time. So like he was probably putting more effort and more stuff into The Conjuring because that's the first, than, this one. That's kind of my thing. I think he
It's
might have
it's
had a little bit of
possible.
a he might have
It's
had
possible.
also a little bit of a, kind of he was overworked, you know. I mean, doing
Maybe. I mean, I really like this the directing on this one, but I think that you're right that the first one had a little more of a kind of creep show type feel with it, with like the different colored lights and the angles and all that. While this one was a little more straightforward.
it's funny. He actually so I watched a little bit of this like behind the scenes, and he was talking about how this one was a little bit more stepfather and Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Were two films he really
Okay,
loved and admired,
I
and
could see
that's I
that.
think what he brought into this and stuff. And yeah, I could definitely see that. And like the first one was very poltergeist, like that was the influence and
Right.
the inspiration. So I feel like, you know, I get this. I get, especially like there's that great shot of Josh where he's like, I'm gonna take the kids to school now. He's like
Yeah.
standing in the like as the guy says, that's a demon stance. When you see that, the guy's a demon because they're standing with like their legs like this or whatever. And
Well,
I
yeah,
love that.
yeah, he sounds like a body snatcher. One of the pod people. He's just,
Uh, yeah,
you know.
very, very stilted and dialogue and
But would
stuff.
it be a bad thing if they never figured out there was a demon in him? I mean, he didn't do anything bad. He didn't like hit the
He
kids. He
he
didn't.
didn't want to,
Ass-
but the mother kept telling him to do it. Remember, he's in the bathroom and he kept talking to himself, and that he's talking to. You can hear the mother
oh yeah, yeah.
later.
You gotta kill him. You gotta
You
kill
gotta
him.
kill
Yeah.
him. You gotta kill him. And he's like, "No, I don't want to, mommy. Why are you making me do this?" And I'm like,
Who's actually that kid right there
"Yeah,
by your
yeah,"
shoulder
because
there?
it's not it's not Josh doing any of this. It's that
Right.
guy, and he's. I mean, most of the time, I think he's just trying to just live his life like without, but like the mom keeps wanting him to murder all these people. So every time he murders somebody, he's murdering it because of his mom, or whatever. So I'm like, I don't know how that really works. Like, how did the mom get in his head? Is it like a Russian doll? Like, is it like, the guy and then the mother and then there's a Josh
Yeah,
and
that's
the
why
guy and
people
then the
say like get
mother.
out of my head. Yeah, probably.
So
Something like that. Yeah, just psychological. So I have to admit that I saw Insidious in the theater. I saw Insidious 2 on whatever it was, DVD probably. And then I hated it when I
when
first
you
saw
first
it
watched
because
it,
yeah, because I'm like, why the fuck is this? This is a guy? Can't they just keep it a woman? Can't they just keep it like an evil woman Why does it have to be a guy? And it really annoyed me that they changed it up. And then when I watched it this time, I loved it.
Yeah, it didn't bother me at all that it was a guy. Like I kind of thought that was kind of cool.
I
Um,
thought maybe it was like just kind of cheap. Like, why do that? Just keep it, just keep it. It works in the first film. Why are you changing it for the second? But then when I rewatched all four back to back, or watched them in the order that we're reviewing them in, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
yeah, it was.
Because I don't think that's why I never saw part three, and then I never saw part four. So I think I saw part three later. I'm like, all right, well, it's part three. Let's give it a chance. I didn't like it, and then I never saw part four. But now I love them all.
Yeah, they're actually. I mean, I hate saying this. It's gonna sound very terrible, but I like the Insidious, you know, universe more than the Conjuring
Oh, so do
actually.
I. I do.
And I think it's just because I find them to be, so the biggest problem with the Conjuring universe is it's too big, you know, in my opinion. There's too much going. There's too much things. There's,
Sure.
and it becomes like Marvel, which I think was what they wanted to do. DC, Marvel, they wanted to create all these different characters. But and that's fine. Like I'm guessing that could be done well, But my biggest problem is when you look at a movie like The Nun or Annabelle comes home or all these other ones that just sort of like to me are just sort of more lackluster, you know. They don't have the oomph, you know. But then you look at the Insidious movies and they're each and every one of them has something in it that just goes, man, this is damn good. And you know what I
Oh
think it
yeah.
is? It's Lee. It's Lee Winnell. I think he really brings
Yeah.
it.
I would
He,
agree with that. Yeah.
By the way, I got a quote from him. I don't know if you saw that on my Facebook, but I was watching this. There's some great featurettes and stuff on the Blu-ray. I don't know if there are on the DVD that you got or
No, they're free of they're bare bones. It's just the movies.
okay. Well, all right. So it says he was on set of Insidious 2, right? And a chapter 2. He goes, as you can see, I'm now dressed like someone out of the Book of Mormon. That's because I'm playing Specs now. This is Lee Winnell. I've taken my writing hat off and put the actor hat on. It is really two different worlds. You go from sitting there at your desk writing something to being on set going, who wrote this crap? And then you realize it was you, which is always disappointing. Uh, then he goes, I do think there's a difference between the way a line looks on the page and the way it's said.
Oh
And
yeah.
sometimes there can be a disconnect. So it's interesting to be an actor speaking your own lines. You really find out whether you're good or not. And
Yeah, I
I
would agree with
totally
that.
agree with him. And I
Yeah.
like that. I thought he was just, he seemed like a very down to earth. He said that all in an Australian accent. The guy that played Tucker, with him, was actually a good friend of his from, back in the day. That's how they brought him on, apparently. And I did not even know that, but he mentions it or whatever. And they joke about it. They joke that they met in San Quentin, you know, prison, or whatever. But they were talking about that, and then and he's also Australian, and I didn't know that either. So I was like, oh my God, that's that's incredible, And they were just so sweet and just it's just they were actually once again a highlight of the movie, and I was so glad that they were in it, again. And then at the end of the movie, and once again, spoilers. I mean, if you haven't seen the movie, I don't know why you're watching this. Um, but you see Elise with and they're still doing, they're doing stuff together with her, which is pretty cool.
I like that.
They can't see her, but others can if they have the gift, or whatever. Like, who's the
Yeah, who's
woman?
that lady? Yeah,
And I'm
behind
like,
you.
oh, that's see, I mean, if you're in the Conjuring universe, that would be the spinoff right there. Is that girl, and the stuff that she's doing, which I think would ruin the movie. Or
but
the
in
series.
but in the Conjuring universe, you couldn't do this. And they already set it up in for Insidious that you can have these two guys and have Elise as a ghost behind them, and that people can see them. You're not really. I don't think that you could. It wouldn't work in the Conjuring
Well, in the
universe.
Conjuring universe, it's mainly Lorraine and Ed's stories, or whatever, or the things that, like the nun was something that was in part of Conjuring too, you know what I mean? So like it was, set up in the world, and then they brought connected it or whatever. But then like you get movies like the Curse of La Llorona, where they give like one little thing of like, oh, I helped them with the doll or whatever, and I'm like, really, that's our connection, is you
That's it.
helped them with something with Annabelle once, so you're now where that's why this is part of the Conjuring. You never, you know what I mean? Like I like the Insidious movies because they really do stick with the characters. Like, the next one, the next Insidious movie is gonna be with Josh back with the Lamberts again, and I'm actually excited now after watching like these movies. I'm like, dude, bring on Insidious 5. Can't wait for us to review it. You know, like I'm excited about that. I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like it's just a more fun series of films. And I think this is Blumhouse's best series. Like I know people might say like The Purge or Paranormal Activity or whatever, but like, and we're gonna get to Paranormal Activity, or whatnot. So
Because there is a new one. It's already made. It just hasn't
I
come out
know it's
yet.
coming out in like what, July or
Yeah,
something.
and it goes back to the original storyline.
So I'm excited to dive into that, and we will.
That, but that's another thing that I love is all these guys are together.
Right.
You got James Wan, and you got Lee Winnell, and then you have the guy who started Paranormal Activity, and then and then they kind of all went off to go do their own things, but they could always come back. So now we got them back for part five, and
Yeah.
it's like this whole kind of group, this team that work together, but yet they work separately too.
Hmm.
Like you never heard, like Lee Winnell go, "Oh fuck James Wan, man. He did Aquaman. Fuck that guy." No, instead it's they come back and work together. Like I'm not seeing any jealousy there. I'm not seeing, and
Yeah. Well, I
especially, I
mean,
mean,
I would only say that Lee won't have much jealousy because he's constantly working. You know what I mean? It's not like
well,
he
it took
got.
him a little bit longer. It took, Upgrade was that one that made us go ooh, but it
Mhm.
was Invisible Woman that that did it, that knocked him over, and but James Wan had already been there for a long time.
Your cat makes me think there's a ghost behind you or something. You know, 'cause I
Oh,
think I
how
keep
can
seeing
you?
I saw the tail flying.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he's sitting right next to me. He's right here.
Yeah, I think I saw something and I was
There he
like,
is.
"Oh my God."
Well, he's probably hungry. Both of them probably are. I gave them their treats, but not their regular food before I did this. So I'll have to, when we take our break, I'll have to feed them. But he like Boris likes attention, so he
Yeah.
he like
You know, all cats love attention.
yeah.
Um
So
so anyway, to go back, I really like, yeah, I enjoyed um you know, I,
I'm sorry. So let me ask you: the woman that's in the mom that's in your picture, would kind of like the nun, would you like to see a prequel of how she became the mother or the mom?
not really. I mean,
You
no
don't want to
offense.
know
Like,
how
I
she
mean,
became
if
that way?
if they made it, would I watch it? Probably, you know. But like if they made The Mother, Insidious The Mother, um, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's needed. I think we got enough backstory with who she was as like she was this demanding mother who kept telling her son that you're going to be Marilyn, you're not gonna be Parker, your name is in Parker, that kind of thing. And she's really creepy and really kind of scary, but
Yeah, and he even drew that nice picture for her too, and you
yeah,
know,
and stuff.
she
And
got
she was
all.
mad because like he still said Parker, instead of is that's the name your father gave you, not the
So
name.
I wonder if somebody will name their kids Marilyn and Parker based off of this movie,
If
and
they
then when
really
the
like
kids
this
like,
movie that much, I guess.
yeah, well, they'll be like, well, mom and dad, how did you get our names? And oh, well, there's this really fucked up movie called the Insidious Part Two or Insidious Chapter Two, and this is how you got your names. It was from this really demented mom and a kid who's now a transvestite, or
I, I mean, yeah, he became one or whatever and stuff. And um,
no, now you're biting on a cork.
he was
Yeah,
crazy. He was,
there you go.
he was, like the whole backstory with them was interesting. Plus, it got really crazy when they're doing the dice, right? And stuff.
Well,
And
I like at first how they think it's a joke. Like, really, dude, dice, really?
then it starts working, of course.
Yeah, and
Which
then
I was wondering if there are spirit dice. There are spirit dice you can buy like for like $35.
well, I was thinking when he was doing them, like, couldn't you just make up a word? But like you roll them and then you see the word can, and then you're like, oh look, CAN. Oh look, they're talking to us.
Well, I guess it
You
depends
just
on what
fake
you
it.
ask. If you said, you know, um, if you asked, would you like a plate? I'm trying to think of something that wouldn't be can, wouldn't have anything to do with
Well,
can.
honestly, like if he was faking it, I mean, you could if you're rolling something that has letters, you could just find, oh look, there's a THE. Oh,
But
and he's
then,
completely faking it. It's a hoax.
right, but then like if it didn't actually make any sense, like the person was like potato. Oh, it's potato. And then someone goes, what
Well,
does that
you could
have
then
to
go,
do with
wait, duh, duh, poteto leads to potato.
what
Okay,
does
and
the
then that
potato
leads
have
to
to do with
it,
where my mom is right now?
because now
Where's my
your
mom right
mom's
now?
in potato
Potato.
land, and
I don't
yeah,
know. It's just one of those things where I was, I don't know. I like that stuff. I like when it's kind of like a Ouija boards, Like I like it when they spell shit out and stuff like that. And I like that it was a dice instead of a Ouija board. Like it could have been a spirit
it
board,
was different.
but it was a spirit dice. And
Yeah,
I mean, apparently those things exist. I don't know if they just existed because of this movie or if they existed, you know, before this movie.
I think they do exist. I think it's just another way of communicating.
Yeah.
But in the movie, it gets better and better. I mean, then instead of them trying to find the letters, it then spells out the letter
Oh, and
as the
at
word.
one point, it moves on its own,
Yeah,
and shit. I was like, that's cool. Like, I was like, that's the kind of shit that I like to see.
you're not because it was Elise, right? Who they were trying to talk to, and then it
They
wasn't
were
her.
trying
He's
to
like,
talk to, and then he
yeah,
was
you're
like,
not Elise, are
and then
you?
he goes, no, and he's like, he like the mother or something is what he wrote, whatever it was, and
I
my
forgot that
other,
she was at the end of the movie too.
and I
I was
love
so
what,
happy about that.
what,
I forgot that Elise was in the movie.
oh yeah,
I was
yeah,
so happy because I'm like, fuck, she needs to be in all four,
yeah, she is. Well,
and
she's not in the
she's
fifth one as far as we know. Maybe she will show
oh,
up.
part five.
Five. Yeah, in the fifth one. I don't
I
know if
think
she'll
that
be
they
back.
would. Come on, she's like a big deal now. She's like everybody knows who Lin Shaye is. You got to have her in there. It'd be disappointing if she wasn't.
But neither her or Specs um or them are listed. Like none of them are listed. So
They may be intentionally not listing people until
well Blumhouse has been doing stuff like Marvel where they're trying to keep secrets, because they want people to be more excited when they get announced, or
sure.
whatever. And I honestly think, and this sounds terrible, but I think like Blumhouse should learn from Marvel certain techniques, to get more people excited, in my opinion. Like the way that they promote their stuff and they get their stuff out there. Marvel's really good at that.
Marvel. I mean, They seem to be doing a pretty good job box office wise.
Yeah. Like people are like, "Oh my God." Whatever, like the reviews for like Quantum Mania may not have been that great, but their box office scores didn't matter. People still went to see it, whether or not.
Well,
I
the first 3 days did very good over that holiday weekend, and then by the second week, it had a 71% drop off, which was the highest of all the Marvel movies. So it actually did the worst out of all
Which
three
sucks because I actually
Ant-Man
liked it.
movies.
I liked it. I dug it. I know a lot of people didn't like it, and I think, coming off from, but this is a whole different discussion. Let's not do this. Let's not go
Well,
down
but
that rabbit
no,
hole.
no, but look, you have something like Marvel with Ant-Man 3 where the entire movie's on a freaking green screen. And
Hmm.
then and a pointless cameo by Bill Murray. And then you get
I
something
wouldn't
like
say
in
pointless. I liked them.
he wandered onto the set and they put him in the movie. Um
Maybe.
but then you have something like Insidious, see how I got back, that all the sets they use are already used sets just with lighting and smoke and shadows and weird noises. And so come on, Marvel, do that type of shit,
Well,
do
because then that's, it sounds terrible, but that's the cheaper, thing, and it's what's going to
it's
get you a
better.
lot of money too, because, you do, but see, you can't do like a $5 million Marvel movie. You can't, like, I mean, even their
Well,
shows
they
probably cost at least 20 million,
they
you
better
know?
start rethinking, because except for Spider-Man No Way Home, none of these movies have hit a billion. And that's the Marvel goal. That's the
Yeah.
Disney goal. If it doesn't hit a million, it's a bomb.
A billion, you mean? Yeah.
A billion. Yeah, no, yeah, billion.
Yeah.
So
If it
that's
doesn't
the
hit a million, it's definitely a bomb.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. That is
It
true.
doesn't
So,
hit a million, it is.
yeah, because now they're freaking out about the Marvels. So,
They're freaking out a lot about things, but you know what? I mean, it is what it is. They're gonna. Here's the
pack it up.
thing. Yeah,
Pack it
they're
up.
gonna do what they want to do. So I'm gonna go
Well,
back to Insidious.
but to go to DC for a second with Aquaman, I've read several things now and seen some videos that Aquaman 2 is a disaster. That it's supposed to be really boring. People have walked out of it, not because of Amber Heard, but they're just saying that it's just really boring and confusing. And so all these reshoots and everything, and then pushing the film has nothing to really to do with Amber Heard. It's just that it's a bad movie. So, and that's James Wan.
And that sucks. I
Or who
don't think it
knows?
was
Maybe
his
maybe
fault,
Aquaman.
you know.
Well, maybe Aquaman 2 was directed by James Wynn. That's why
That
it's
would be more the possibility. I think it's just once again it's too many people poking their fingers into the stew and trying to, do their own thing. So I don't think, James Wan, not James Wynn, James Wan does the best he can with what he's given, but he's not writing them. They should maybe get Lee Winnell to write some,
he might be
stuff.
a ghostwriter. Who knows? So
Yeah.
it's I
Um,
mean it's a shame. I would like the film to do well, but a lot of people are now saying, and this once again stuff I've read and seen, is what does any of this in the DC universe matter if they're just going to scrap it all and start from scratch, basically? Then what's the point of Shazam? What's the point of Aquaman? If Aquaman is now
well,
going
I
to
mean,
be
they're not going to
Lobo,
erase Aquaman. They're
no,
not going to
no, no, no.
erase the
It's not
amount of like,
erasing. It's stopping it.
right. It's changing it up and doing
So
something.
what's the point if there's going to be no end to this? Like there's going to be no conclusion. And James Gunn is just saying, okay, we're just going to release these movies, but they're not going to really count. Because now because since he already did his slate like Marvel does of
You know
this
what they
movie's here
should
and
have
this is
done?
here.
What they should do, or should have done, or whatever. I don't know what you would call it, but they should have, all these different, because they even mentioned that, James Gunn. Oh God, we're going on a whole different rabbit hole, but whatever. I'm gonna have to get this out. Um, James Gunn said that basically the non-canon uh was it like Joker or the Batman or whatever, those aren't going to be in the same universe. Those are going to be, I forgot what he called them. He had a specific name for them. But there's a certain thing. Why
It's like
doesn't he have
legends or something like
what?
that. Like they're legends or something that they're
Yeah,
their
they're their
own
own
thing.
project,
Yeah.
whatever. Then I think the Snyderverse should still continue. And it's just be the Snyder, you know, world, universe. And then they can continue with the new universe.
No, because he wants young Superman.
Well, no,
He
I'm saying
wants
why not? I mean, why not
Supergirl.
have all of them? I mean, if they're all going at the, I mean, it might be too confusing, but I
Well,
mean,
the whole thing's confusing anyways. What one minute
right.
Ben Affleck is in it, the next minute he's not, the next minute he's out, the next minute he's in, and
That's
and
that's
and
because he got fired from, or he got fired because they live by night, and shit like that. So doing so badly. Um, but anyway, that's it's weird. We completely went off.
no, because it's still James
I
Wan
know it's still James
related.
Wan
So yeah,
related, but it's like,
but to kind of bring it back is that's where you have something where even if the Conjuring universe in the way that we watched it does not work, it's still a functioning universe. Like
and
you
it's
could
a
still
cheap
watch
universe.
it,
Like it's not
yeah, and
very expensive.
understand it.
Yeah,
So and they didn't just stop. They didn't go like, oh, okay, after Conjuring 2, now Conjuring 3 is going to have a younger set of Warrens, and that's now going to be a reboot and stuff. They didn't say, they're still continuing, and you could just sit down and watch any of these, and it makes sense. And I don't think Marvel's different. I think that even though I don't like them, it's still a cohesive line that you could watch and it would make sense. But DC, no way.
it's like the
That's the
Halloween movies. Like
Yeah.
after
I
a
mean,
while, it's just like stop trying to keep changing shit. Stick with one thing and let's do Halloween. Halloween kills. Halloween ends. So we have a trilogy of movies and then end it so they can do Halloween, begins again, or whatever on the next, in
oh
two,
yeah,
three
it's
years
not
from
going to be the
now.
last one. Yeah, they're
Oh
going
yeah,
to
no,
all
no,
yeah.
there's no way that Halloween's gonna end. To me, that just meant that Halloween ended that trilogy of Halloween, or whatever that list of, because they did the same thing that annoys the fuck out of me all the time. Hollywood, stop doing this. Seriously, stop doing this. Stop re doing requels where it is a sequel remake. So taking Halloween and saying it's actually Halloween Part 2, but not calling it Halloween Part 2, having it just call Halloween. Very fucking confusing, you know.
Oh, it is, since now there's 3 movies called Halloween.
There's now
I
three
mean,
movies called Halloween, and they are all different, and two of them have Jamie Lee Curtis in it, and they're all supposed to be different timelines. I'm like, are you gonna do a Halloween multiverse movie where all of these are gonna like make sense someday? Like, oh no,
I
I
think
just
they
gave
should.
Blumhouse some
They
ideas.
were going to do was it uh Halloween?
Oh yeah,
Wh-
Hellraiser and Halloween together.
yeah, which I liked.
Did you read a
And
script for it or something, or did you just like the
no, I did.
idea?
No, there's a YouTube guy did a whole thing of like unmade sequels and stuff, and that was one, and he went into detail, and he talked about how Carpenter was going to write it. I think Carpenter was going to direct it. Clive Barker was going to write it, and then it was Mustafa who said, "No, we're not going to do this because it will embarrass Michael Myers." Really, really?
Has Michael Myers not been embarrassed? Well, Mustafa's not around anymore, is he? Is he still
No,
around?
it's his son, because it was the Mustafa and the daughter, and then they died in some fucking a-hole explosion that a bomber did.
Oh, fuck.
Committed suicide. Yeah, it was when they were
Sucks.
in Israel, I
Oh,
believe,
fuck.
and they were at a cafe, and a suicide bomber just walked in and blew the whole place up. So they both died, and then the son took over.
So Sun's fucking everything up. Okay.
Yeah.
And
but
look,
it was Mustafa originally, and they could do that. I still would like a Conjuring, Insidious spinoff.
uh-huh,
I mean, but they're two different companies, which is why I think, didn't you and I hear about like Insidious and Sinister? Yeah,
something
but
like
yeah,
that.
I did hear that, and it was a combination of the two different words, kind of like
And
Halloween,
sinister. In sinister.
something like that. Yeah,
Sinistious. No, that doesn't work as much. Like
I think
insidious.
I think that could
It's
be fun. I mean, I would enjoy something
Sinistious.
like that.
Sinistious. I don't know. I don't like that one.
But I
But
am glad that they're calling, the fifth Insidious, Insidious Chapter 5, as
right.
far as we know, instead of Scream and then Scream 6, which I
Right.
really don't. It's like, why did you call it Scream? Just call it Scream
Scream
5.
5. And then Scream
If you're gonna call
6.
this one
But I
Scream
liked how they
6,
did Scream 6's title being Scream 6, but it was like
yeah,
the
the M,
VI was like the M,
yeah.
and everything. I was like, that's fucking neat, like
I mean, that's fine,
that
but they could have done that with the 3 or something, and in part 5, they could have put a 5 in there instead of a 3 or whatever it is. So
didn't
that's if
matter.
they wanted to stick with that number instead of instead of doing the Roman numeral, because this is the first one that has a Roman numeral
I
on
mean,
it.
if they had Scream 3, they could have done Scream and be S, like when they did Scream 3, they could have done it S, I don't know if they did, but SCR 3 AM, because it'd be
It's
like B
possible,
there.
yeah,
Yeah. But anyway, whatever. It's just, and we're gonna be reviewing at some point Scream 6. So get ready for that one. And I know
yeah.
you're gonna be doing a review of it with Jack. Is that well that's okay because it'll probably be already done by the time this episode comes out. So but yeah, you're gonna
Oh,
do
it
one.
will be with Jack. It's a very different review. So yours and I will be different, and his and I will be different. So
Yeah. And I have no idea if I'll even like it or not. I'm gonna hopefully watch it this weekend, so we'll see. I mean, I'm afraid like I'm gonna find out things already, before I go into it, but I haven't yet. Nobody's been spoiling anything. So as far as I know, as far as I've seen, so I'm kind of happy about that. I have been avoiding like anytime somebody writes Scream, I go nope, and I go right down to something else on my feed because I'm like, no, no, no. Like all I know is it's been the most divisive Scream yet. Like so many people said they liked it, and some people said they hated it.
I've
And
now seen it
so,
twice, and I like it better the second time in the
okay,
way that I liked Scream 5 better the second time. But I still have major issues with it that I do not have in the other Scream movies.
you can just spoil me this one thing, and I don't care if people get spoiled here too, because by the time that this is out, if they haven't seen it, that's your fault. So, uh, no Skeet Ulrich, right?
Yes, there is.
Fuck.
that that is
Why?
that is that is going to be their thing, and if when they make 7, it's still going to be in there.
Oh God.
That's the thing. She's the daughter of a serial killer, and so you're going to keep seeing those bad de-aging, effects. But
Oh well, anyway, whatever. I just
it's
wanted to
not
know
a
that, but
yeah.
now that I know that, it's fine. I just, that's all I wanted to know because that's one thing that did bug me and bugged you a lot. I know you hated it. First, I was like, I don't mind, but the more I like thought about it, I was like, yeah, I don't like this. But
I don't like the idea, and I mentioned this before in yours and Jack's review that I did, that I think it makes Billy a giant hypocrite, and I think that everybody could be hypocrites, but when you're bashing on Sydney's mom, saying she ain't no Sharon Stone, throwing it around town, calling her a fucking slut and everything, then he goes off and just fucks some chick and has a daughter. Dude, you're no better than Sydney's mom.
yeah,
So what are you bitching about?
I just kept saying Sydney's mom was making me think of Stacy's mom. Sydney's mom's
Sydney's
got it
mom
going on.
going on. So that's still one of my major issues with this is and if I ever got to be in like a Q&A with the writers, like in the audience, and I could go up to the microphone, I would
Mm-hmm.
ask them that question because it's the same writers, and as I'm sure it'll be the same writers for the third one
All
that
right.
they do.
The
So
what radio something, whatever they're
uh,
called.
I don't know their names. It's two directors, two writers. You
Oh,
know,
they're not the same
I don't think it's the same.
directors and same writers.
Yeah, I think they're different guys.
Oh,
I I could be wrong.
Scream 6. Let's find out. I want to find that out. Oh yeah, different writers. So it's
Yeah,
James Vanderbilt, not Vanderbeek, but James Vanderbilt.
I was
Who,
hoping it was Beak, but
I mean, that would be cool. But no, it was not. He did The Amazing Spider-Man and Losers and Zodiac. Zodiac is great, so good for him, you know?
oh, what the writers?
Yeah, no, the writer, yeah, James Vanderbilt did that, and then he did Amazing
Zodiac
Spider-Man
is really good.
2, and ew, he did Independence Day Resurgence. Oh, and he did an
Oofa.
Adam Sandler movie. Ugh,
Oh God, no
he
wonder
did
he
Murder Mystery.
sucks.
Then he did Scream right after that, and
I don't
Scream
even need
5,
to
and
see that Adam Sandler film to know that it sucks.
yeah. Um,
Especially if it says Netflix on it.
and he did Murder Mystery 2. Oh, no. And then so I don't know. Eh.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what you think about it. So,
Yeah. I mean,
you and I,
I didn't mind the fifth one. I didn't hate it, but I didn't it, did we do a ranking of that with that one in there? Because I don't know if we did. I
I
think we
think
just did all the maybe we did. I don't know from last year.
we might have just done a ranking of when we saw, when we reviewed part five. Because
Uh,
it's not like Conjuring universe where there's like 20 movies.
right. There's like only five. So it makes it a little easier. Um, hold on, I'll find out in a second. So we did uh whoops. Sort.
And there's only
Okay.
four of these.
Yeah. What the hell is going on here? Um, oldest. Okay, so we did 4, 5. Yep. So we did the rankings. I want to see what I ranked them again. I don't remember. And it might change. That's the beauty of life is shit changes. We're gonna be doing a ranking pretty soon of these four. And then I guess we can kind of do when we do 5, we can talk about if we change our ranking a little bit, but we won't have to do a whole new video on it, you know. We'll just mention at the end,
Five,
you know.
five or six.
I'm saying Insidious 5.
Oh! I thought you were talking about Scream.
No.
Oh
But
yeah, no. That's why I texted you and said, we should do special videos. So whenever a new sequel comes out, whenever we end whatever we're doing, we just do that movie as a solo review.
right.
Yeah.
But also we'll also kind of put in where we would rank that in the form of all the other movies too. So like for Scream 6, we would
Part
say,
six, Dead
yeah,
Last. There you go. There's my rating.
oh, you already know it. Okay.
Yeah,
There
it
you,
would most likely stay the same as it was before, and I would just tack this on to part five.
there
So
you go.
I do think part five is better.
Part 5 is better
Maybe.
than 6. Okay.
Yeah, because I rewatched five before I went to go see six, and I
Well,
thought,
I need to do
nah.
that. Where's it on? HBO?
I think it's Paramount, I believe.
Paramount. Wait. Okay. It doesn't say Paramount Plus, so I wonder if it's on Paramount Plus or not. Oh well, I'll find out later.
Yeah,
Um, but yes, to go back to movie we're supposed to be talking about. Insidious Chapter 2, which so back to your regularly scheduled review.
yeah,
Um, so I guess we talked a good amount about stuff. I forgot to mention, and I've talked to you about this. They say the words malignant, and they say the words conjure, and I thought that was hilarious when I
I think I pointed at the screen and went, oh, 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 oh. I was like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's pointing at the screen. I was going, oh, 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 oh.
right? It's like, oh my God, they mentioned Malignant, but like he had no idea like James Wan was gonna make Malignant unless he did, unless that was something in the works for years and just didn't. That'd be something fun, interesting to know. Or maybe he's rewatching Insidious 2 and goes, Malignant, that's a
That's a
great
good
title.
title. Yeah,
It's
let's
like
do
that's a
that.
good title. Let's put
It's not
that.
difficult at all to say. Let's do that one. Malignant.
Malignant. You keep calling it something else, didn't you?
Yeah, because I had a hard time pronouncing it, but now I'm pronouncing it correctly because I kept
Yeah.
doing it over and over and over again. I keep looking at you, and I keep thinking you have your bed like a closet door open, and that for some reason you collect dolls.
Oh, okay. No. No, no. That's not mine.
Those aren't your
Mm,
dolls.
those aren't my dolls. I don't think.
Hey, you know the mom there with the kid with Parker is kind of sleepaway camp.
Very much. Yeah. Maybe Felissa Rose should be the next one. You know what? Interesting. Because wasn't that the thing in Sleepaway Camp? Was the fact that they wanted her to the boy to be a girl and everything?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
because yeah, like the one kid died,
yeah, and
and but it
like
was
drowning or
the
something.
yeah, the girl died, but the boy survived, and then the nutty mom, who actually looks kind of similar to your picture there, because she was all made up and all that, yeah, made him a her, gave
And
her
you
long
know
hair.
James Wan's seen Sleepaway Camp. There's no way
Oh, you
he
definitely, yeah.
hasn't. So hmm.
I don't know,
James
maybe
Wan,
he can.
we're on to you.
We're on to you, sir.
Or
Maybe he'll pull a Tarantino.
whoever really came up with the idea of doing that like thing, whatever. And like we know these guys
Well, he
because
might be pulling a Tarantino. You never know. When Tarantino said, I've seen every movie ever made," and they're like, "Really?" Because Reservoir Dogs is a lot like City on Fire. And, oh, I never saw it.
I never saw. But then later he actually said he did see City on Fire and it,
He's he lied
yeah,
about it at
yeah.
first
But he
because
probably got caught lying about it, and then he changed his mind on that,
yeah,
or
Film Threat
whatever.
magazine did a whole issue just on that, doing like shot to shot like pictures
Hmm.
comparisons. So I guess James Wan could say the same thing. I've seen every movie made except for Sleepaway Camp.
No, no, he wouldn't do that. He'd be like, yeah, we ripped Sleepaway Camp off. Why not? It didn't matter because it wasn't that direct of a thing. It's just, you literally pointing out that she looked like that um
The crazy mom,
because of the face right there,
the
you know.
makeup and being crazy and all that type of stuff. All we needed was for Parker to like drop his
But
like
also, wasn't that
dress.
like the jaw drop like thing so Angela from Sleepaway Camp that Felissa Rose does that like all the time?
Oh yeah, which is funny because that's not even her.
Yeah, I don't think it was her. I don't think she did
No,
that. Well, no, no,
it's
no, no, no. Oh, it wasn't her, was it? It
no,
wasn't her.
it was a man, a young man who was drunk, and they did the cast of her face. That's why it never moves. That's why she's always
Yeah,
and it never moves is because it's a mask. So
man, I
so
love that movie.
technically it's not even her.
I'm gonna do that for something. I gotta review that for something, 80s horror films or something. I love that movie. Or wait, did I do? I did do it for 80s horror films already. I've done so many like podcasts I don't even remember, but I loved it. Maybe it'll be go on again for horror film lovers because yeah, you can't stop talking about Sleepaway Camp. It's such a great movie.
I got to
You
see
know,
it in the theater
lucky you. I
originally,
didn't
yeah,
even like. I
on
didn't see it
film.
about it till I was way older, like way, way older, in my 30s and shit. And then I'm like, good God, why have I like, why have I seen this when I was young? Probably because I just didn't rent horror movies when I was a kid, and stuff. And I don't know. I don't know why I never watched Sleepaway Camp because it was such a everybody talked about it, you know.
Oh man, I saw everything,
But
and that's
Felicia's the sweetest person in the world. I don't know if you've ever met her, but she every
yes, I
time
worked with
I
her.
yeah, every time I see her, oh yeah, you did. You
I
worked on Night of the
yes,
Zombies.
I was gonna say let's not say the name, but okay.
I mean, she was in it. It exists.
No, she's not.
Yikes. Oops. I
Yeah,
thought,
that's what I was saying.
oopsie.
X-nay,
Um,
X-nay on the Zomgulays. No, when I did meet her on set, she was very nice, and somewhere out there is behind the scene footage that I shot of her and um I think like Julie's in there and Sadie,
cat,
what's her name?
cats.
Sadie Katie Katz, yeah, her.
I love
So I think
Sadie.
it's yeah, I like her too. And she so there is behind the scenes footage where I had them introduce themselves and why are you
How
here
about
and what are your
Deputy Doofy
characters.
from,
I worked
was
with
it?
him too.
Yeah.
I didn't
But,
interview him though, but I did
mm,
talk to him. Yeah, they were supposed to play a couple.
yeah.
I yeah, I don't know how much of this I'm supposed to say.
I don't think Will care, either way. And I don't think they'll care either,
No,
you know.
he seems to be pretty honest in his stuff. So
Every time I interview him, man, he's just like, I don't care. Ask me anything. I will be 100% honest. He doesn't
oh,
hold
when he
back.
started to on one filmmaker when he started to say stuff about David Sterling, I was like,
They're friends though. I mean, now they are. I don't know if they were
not
before.
at the time.
Yeah.
So, but it was kind of like, dude, let's not, because I normally will tell people when I interview them, it's like, don't bash on people. Like this is just supposed to be like a fun thing. Don't turn it into a hate fest.
Right.
You
I
know,
mean,
this
you're
is
not supposed to call people out or say anything negative. And a lot of times when I interview people, I want to talk about them, you know? Like I don't want to get into other people and other situations. I just want to talk about what did you go through? What did you do? You know what I mean? And so sometimes people do talk about other people and sometimes I have to edit that shit out because I just don't feel comfortable with, people talking, about
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
else,
You got to be careful about that. Like I have one filmmaker coming up with the director that I'm working with now who did Shock 'em Dead and the film with Tracy Lords. And
Mhm.
I asked him if he'd be on one filmmaker to talk about that. And he said yes. So Mark Freed, I believe, and
Yeah, nice.
very very nice guy. And I was over there shooting Sunday, doing some stuff, and next Wednesday, I'll be doing some stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's a you just have to be mellow with these things. So
Yeah. You just gotta be careful because you never know, you know.
yeah,
So it's one of those things of like, and I love doing interviews. I love doing reviews. And when I do mainstream Mondays, it's not like the directors like James Wan, and I mean James Wan might have watched this, but I don't think they're, generally the horror film lovers are movies we love, you know? And so like if I don't particularly, enjoy it, I will say something, Like I'll say, oh, that wasn't my cup of tea, you know? But I won't like bash on them, And I try not to bash on movies, period. When we do indie film cafes, sort of have to mention if it's not good, you know? Right? Like, you can't lie and say, "Oh,
yes, yes and no, yes and no.
you can't be like this is
So
the greatest movie in the world when you know
no,
it's not."
no, but for something like when I do reviews after midnight, I'm picking a film mostly that I picked up at Dollar Tree, made by people I have no idea who they are,
Yeah.
and they're and so I can you know bash on a film and not feel bad about it. But
But
if
then
all of a
what one
sudden
day, what if that guy adds you as a friend? No connection, doesn't know you wrote did that review or whatever, and then you add him not remembering that that's who it was.
that's a chance that's a
Yeah.
chance, but
And
luckily it's
then
only one video a month. Something like one filmmaker is I will normally watch a movie and then go, oh shit, I really like this, let me see if I can find the filmmaker on Facebook,
yeah.
and then go, hey dude, I really like your movie,
Oh, I get
you
that.
know can you be on my show? And so that way there is nothing bad to talk about because I liked it.
That's true.
Bigfoot's
But once
Pride is
again, that's a big
the
thing
name
of
of it.
why horror film lovers, like that's what this whole thing is. It's supposed to be we love films and we love these are the films we love, kind of thing. When we do Film Freaks, um, it's supposed to be films we love. And I just told you about a movie, and I'm not going to mention it because it's coming up in May. But there was a movie that Paul picked that was not a film he loved. It was a film he loved to show people, and thinks that people should see it. When I pick stuff like, RoboCop, or whatever. We did RoboCop. That
Right.
is coming out, by the way, everybody. It's coming out next, whatever. He did Legend of Hell House, a movie that, he loved, you
Good
know,
movie.
great movie. Richard Matheson, great. So I really, I enjoyed it, but then, you get, what is it? Um, then, what the fuck Fridays maybe might have movies where like, what the hell did we just watch? But most of the time there's still movies I love, like Happiness at Katakuri's and, a bunch of crazy movies, Greasy
Right.
Strangler. If you haven't seen Greasy Strangler, watch that movie. We were just in all of it, you know.
I've heard of it. You know, we are not staying on target. We're like way off target.
What is Target anyway? It's a store.
Target.
All right, let's go back. Let's go back, I guess. But we're pretty much wrapped because there's not much else. I mean, I don't think there's not much else to say. Was
No,
there?
there's nothing to criticize. There's only praise for this. I really enjoyed it. For me, it did feel kind of like a paranormal activity thing. Is like all the dimension stuff going on, all the stuff in the further. I thought everybody was a good actor, including the kid. I thought he did a good job, and most
Mhm.
of the time, kids are horrible
It was a
actors.
different kid though. Different kid. They
Oh,
couldn't
is
get the
it?
same kid, yeah. No, because he was older. It was like 3 years later, and he didn't look the same. So they had
Oh,
to find
I
another
didn't
kid.
even notice it was a
Yeah,
different kid. I
different
guess all
kid.
kids look
I
the same to me.
noticed. I noticed. I was like, oh, that's not the kid from Iron Man 3, I don't think. I'm gonna look that up and make sure, but I'm pretty darn sure I was right about that. Because it was 3 years later. There's no way they could do the same kid. Um, so what
Dalton,
was
right?
the kid's name? Foster was the other one, or Dalton? Oh, it was the same kid. I'm absolutely wrong.
Okay, I thought it was the same kid. Yeah. Then he was also in Jurassic World.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I was wrong. I thought it was a different kid.
Nah, yeah, I thought it was the same kid.
You're right. But he looked different
See,
to
this
me.
time I wasn't going to correct you because I
Well,
thought,
no,
oh,
but
maybe
maybe
he's
maybe it
right.
was the thing that he looked different to me. So I thought he was a different kid,
Probably,
you
yeah,
know.
probably because he's older, so he looked
He was
older.
older, so I did whatever. So I just didn't wow, I was wrong. I was wrong. I admit it.
There you go.
I always admit when I'm wrong. I'm not one of those people that's like, I was right. I don't care what
I hear
IMDb
you.
says, you know.
When I admit when I am wrong. Well, let's get into since we're probably going to be wrapping this up shortly. Let's get into box office on this thing.
Box office.
So, Insidious Chapter 2 made a shitload of money. So its budget 5 million, and it
5
made
freaking million.
only 5 million, and it made um. Let's see, it made God, how do I even say this? Six. Hold on. Help me out here. Going to Wikipedia. I'm having our
Oh, you're
for
at
some reason having
Wikipedia.
a
I was at IMDb, which has a different number, I think. Wiki was it Wiki
okay one. Oh, here we go. For some reason, I had a brain fart. 161.9 million. I don't know. For some reason, that was stumping me, and I don't know why it did.
hold on, wait. A budget of 5 million.
161.1 million.
61.9 million. According to IMDb, it has made 4 million internationally. It's made I don't know how the fuck do you say this? So 4,568,000 $1,703. That's not right. That was opening weekend. Okay. That was just opening weekend. But worldwide it made 40 million opening weekend. And then well, it doesn't say gross on there, so you might be right about the gross, worldwide gross is box office being
Yeah, because it
161.9 million. That's pretty good. I considering it for a $5 million budget, you know, like that means that it went, was it 150? I'm really bad at math, but I'm gonna say 156 million dollars uh over the budget. That's what you want. You want 150 million dollars over budget, you know? Unless you're Marvel, then you want $1 billion over budget.
but that is absolutely amazing, and that's why James Wan and Lee Winnell are the guys. They're the men. I mean, you make a movie for 5 million and you end up grossing 161.9 million.
Hmm. Absolutely. I mean, it's definitely worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and yeah, produced by Jason Blum, and then the guy who did Paranormal Activity, that Oren Peli, I think is how you say his last
Pele.
name. Pele.
I don't,
I just picked up his The River, that TV series that he did.
oh, nice.
Yeah, it's weird on the cover. It says season one, and there's only been one season. It was just a mini series. It didn't. There was no season two. I don't even think they were planning on making a season two.
So it's the complete series.
But it doesn't say that. It says season one.
No, it's the complete series,
It
though.
does have Katie in it, the chick who plays
Oh,
Katie,
yeah, nice.
but she
He
doesn't have a.
basically discovered her, so,
Yeah, she didn't have
you
a
know,
big role in it either. It was kind of small. I think she dies in like the first episode or two.
spoiler alert.
If you haven't seen The River by now, then I don't know what to tell you. So, you know.
Well, I
All
don't,
right, so
I
we
never
want to
even
do
knew
our
about that movie.
oh yeah, it was when he all of a sudden started doing a bunch of TV stuff, and that was one of the big ones that he did, and I guess it just didn't hit, so they only did one season, and it's like in a boat going down the Amazon, and the river keeps closing in on them as they go
Oh,
down. It's like all the
interesting.
weird stuff that happens. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I never finished it, so I only saw like the first few episodes.
Well, I think we should do the ranking right now. I mean, on this video, because
There's only four.
there's only four, and if we really like stretch that to an hour, that's silly. So let's
Sure.
just do it. Ugh. So everybody get ready. You're gonna get the ranking on this video, which so be prepared.
Okay.
Um, so all right, what's your number four, sir?
Um. So for chapter two, this is the 1 out of 5. I
Oh yeah,
give
we
this.
forgot to give the rating. Yeah,
Yeah,
rating.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that's what you meant.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I give this one a 5.
He was 5 stars.
Yeah,
Now,
chapter two.
I loved it, you know, and I loved it, but I still don't love it more than the first one. And so I'm gonna give it 4.5 because I loved
Okay.
it. It's a great movie. And I mean 4.5 is high praise. But it's I loved the first one a little bit more. As I said, I feel like there's some really better shots. I feel like a little bit they kind of maybe he was a little overworked and stuff. So I feel like this is a great movie. And this is actually, I like this, almost as good, but it was that close. And the first one wins over, my heart. So, all
Okay.
right, now let's go to the actual ranking of all four movies. Do you have a ranking with you? Like if you figure one out?
Oh, I don't even need to write anything down. That's easy. I'm looking up for the fun of it. So before we get into, where am I looking here? Hold on. There we go. So since we're looking at all of them, this is the amounts. So Insidious had a 1.5 million budget. Insidious Chapter 2 had a 5 million. Insidious Chapter 3 had 10. And Insidious The Last Key had 10.
Why did they go up to 10, I wonder? Like, did they really need to?
Well, definitely not on the fourth because there aren't really huge actors in four. Maybe three because this guy was it Dylan McDermott is in it. Maybe he was a little pricey, but
I don't know. He's not Tom Hanks or something, even though I think Tom Hanks would
no.
be at least 20 million just in himself. But,
I mean, they all made it pretty good. I mean, worldwide, like the first one made, I'm just going to round it, like 100 million. The second one did 161 million. The third one did 112 million, and then the fourth one did 167 million. And if we care about reviews at all, Insidious would be a B. Insidious Chapter 2 is a B plus. Insidious Chapter 3 is a B plus, and then Lost Key is B minus.
that was like, that was what people said or something? Other people said?
That's from Cinema Score. Rotten Tomatoes, the first one is 66%. Chapter 2 is 38%. Chapter 3 is 57%.
Wait, 38%?
Yeah. So the first one, it's 66% based on 176 reviews. Chapter 2 is 38% based on 130
Jesus, that
reviews.
feels like that's a splat? What the fuck?
Yeah. And then chapter 3 is 57% based on 130
That's
reviews.
still a splat, I think, right?
Lost Key is 33% based on 113 reviews.
Jesus, what is wrong with people?
Yeah. And then Metacritic is the first one is 52% based on 30 reviews. Part 2, 40% based on 30 reviews. Chapter 3, 52 they give it a 52 based on 26 reviews, and then Lost Key is 49 based on 23 reviews.
Wow.
So according to Cinema Score, people thought that parts 2 and 3 were better than the first one, but thought part 4 was the
All
least.
right. Well, I want to know what your ranking is. Okay, so say what's your number four? And I'll say my number four.
Part 3 or chapter 3.
Mine was the Lost Key. The Last Key. I think we keep saying the Lost Key. The Last Key.
The last key.
All right.
Yeah.
So number three.
I kind of predicted. You probably knew mine was going to be 3. I think I knew that yours was 4 from.
And I think I know. Let me guess yours. Okay, and then you
Ooh,
guess
okay.
mine. How about
All
that?
right.
Let's do that. So
Okay.
I think your number, well, you just said your number four was 3. Your number 3 was 4. Your number 2 was 1, and your number 1 is 2.
Oh, wait a minute.
So
So going.
number one movie that you of all this Insidious movies is chapter 2. Your number 2 movie is
No,
chapter 1.
maybe
So is
maybe
that
it's
does that
so maybe I said that wrong. So number 4 would be chapter 3. Number 3 would be Insidious. Number 2
oh,
would be chapter 2, and then number 1 would be Lost Key. Am I saying that right?
the last key, last key.
Yeah, Lost Key. So
Okay. So wow,
yeah,
all right. Then I was completely wrong. What would be your guess for mine?
um, I'm gonna go from. It's easier just to go one down. So
Right.
one would be Insidious.
Okay, keep going.
2 would be 3, chapter 3,
Keep going.
and then one. I'm sorry, that'd be 2. Then 3 would be Insidious, part 3, part 2, then part 4.
No, you're very close though, but number 1 it's actually in order of the movies. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you still said 4 was my last one, my least favorite, which was true. And I think you thought that for some reason 2 and 3 like were switched. Like three, I liked better. I did like three a lot, but number two just blew me out
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
water.
From your review, I would think that would maybe almost
Yeah,
even be your favorite one.
I was surprised by it, but I was also surprised by one and two being still so fucking good, and everything. And once again, those are James Wan. The other ones were other filmmakers, like Lee Winnell took over, and so did another guy. I forgot who the other director was.
Yeah,
For
what did he do?
part
Last
four.
key. Toby Oliver. And let's see. No, 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 no. That must have been producer. Adam Robo Robitil? Something like that? Robitil?
Yeah.
Oh no, we
He
did
did
talk
the
about him.
taking
He did
of
the escape.
Escape Room, the taking of Deborah Logan.
Yeah, like his first film was The Taking of Deborah Logan, and then yeah, then he also did Escape Room 1 and 2, and he wrote Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimension.
Yeah. Um mm,
That's right.
yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
All
I mean,
right. Well, I guess what?
I say he's mostly an actor, but
Well, I mean, it's so funny to know like how Lee Winnell was a was an actor too, Like, and he
did
was
they
he
watch the Taking of Deborah Logan, and that's what?
probably. That's what happens in Hollywood, right? Like those guys see a movie that's a hit in some way and they're like, "Hey, come here. I'm playing our sandbox." You know.
Well, that's what I think the big problem with Marvel is.
Well, we also talked about this in The Conjuring. That's what happened with that one guy. He did a short, got the attention of James Wan, and then James Wan's like, "Hey, come do a Conjuring movie."
But
Um,
see, that to me makes sense because it's similar. But when you have something like the Eternals, where the director only, her last movie was like, was it Nomad or something like that, and which is why I heard that the Eternals is not very good, is because she didn't know what she was doing.
well, from what I heard, she came in herself because they wanted to take a meeting with her. They didn't even, I don't think what happens with Marvel is they take meetings with people and they have no idea what they're gonna do. They don't have like they're not saying, "Hey, I'm gonna bring Keanu Reeves in to play Wolverine," Like they say, "Keanu Reeves, come into Marvel, let's talk. Let's figure out maybe a character you can play," you know, and stuff. And then they go through all the characters. Keanu Reeves says, "No, I don't like that one. I don't like that. I don't want to." You know what I mean? He leaves. They say, "We'll bring you back later. We can maybe discuss some more." Because that's what they've done. They brought a lot of different characters or actors back to discuss stuff, and still some of them to this day haven't been cast in anything yet because the perfect role hasn't been, brought to them yet. Um, the way with this seems to be like they're like Adam Robitel, you did a really great job with taking of Deborah Logan. It was a horror film that was very scary. Let's see if you know what you can do with Insidious movie, you know, and stuff.
That the Taking of Deborah Logan is on YouTube. It's on Kings of Horror.
Nice. I've never I know the title. I've never seen it. So
Uh, oh, you won't want to watch it. It's a found footage movie.
there you go. That's then I'm surprised he hasn't directed more uh the paranormal activities. You said he wrote one of them, but I'm surprised he
The
hasn't
Ghost
directed
Dimension.
more of
Yeah.
them. The guys who did Catfish fucking directed some paranormal activity movies. I think that's funny. Guys who directed the Catfish documentary, that inspired the MTV TV show that I actually really love because it's a guilty pleasure. I love that shit, I can't help but watch it, you know. But I don't feel guilty watching it. I'm sorry. No. No guilty.
That's
No.
fine.
You
So,
know, it's not your cup of tea, but it's not your cup of tea drinking tea.
no, it's my tumbler of water that
Yeah.
has a zombie thing on it.
Nice. Was that like Resident Evil or some shit?
This is from the zombie store that is no longer in business out here. These guys
But
took a
isn't that like
military.
I thought that was like the logo for
I think it's just for toxic waste or just
Oh,
waste,
okay.
or hazard type stuff. But
Hazard.
they took a military surplus store. This is like when zombies were massive, like when Walking Dead first came out. So they took a military surplus store and called it the zombie store. So if you were
Nice.
going, so they would have like zombies, like mannequins and stuff around, and everything would look like it's for the end of the world. And I guess it went out of business. I think maybe because of COVID, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe once zombies die down, nobody cares anymore. But I
Walking
thought it was
Dead.
pretty
Once The
cool.
Walking Dead's over, like, who cares? Well, they got The Last of Us. I think that's a zombie show.
It's kind of is actually the last episode just premiered, so they're
I might actually
this.
watch it soon because I didn't want to watch it when it was a weekly thing. I wanted to wait till I could binge the whole
Oh,
show.
the 9 episodes are there. So yeah, if you do watch the whole thing and you want to do a review, let me know because I have plenty to say. So
All right.
and they're
Interesting.
technically not zombies. I mean, they're fungus zombies. They look like that, like Attack of the Mushroom People.
Well, that's a mainstream Monday thing we could do for fun. You know,
Yeah, it doesn't
we'll
have to be
talk.
episode to episode. Just when you're done watching all of them, then we'll just review
No, the
the
whole series.
yeah.
No, I don't want to do episode by episode. Let's just take too long.
Oh fuck
I
yeah.
mean, nine episodes of our thing, but it would, then you'd have to do the next season and the next season if they even do. I don't know if they.
Oh,
Um,
they're already doing it.
yeah,
So
I had a feeling because everybody's fucking talking about Last of Us. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about White Lotus. Everyone's talking about all the different HBO shows. I don't hear anybody talking about many Netflix shows and stuff as much as I hear HBO these days. So, you know,
I don't know. And
interesting.
unfortunately, if you know how the game for Last of Us Part Two goes, you know what happens to the lead character Joel. So, which kind of pissed me off that I found out about it. But if they keep it the same as the game, he's not going to be in it much.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, John, and thank you for doing this fun little ranking too and stuff. It was quick, but
Yeah, I
sort
mean,
of.
I don't think that they're yeah, I think you're right that probably an hour would be stretching it. And I mean, we could talk about each episode of what we like, which I think is what we've done before, but we've gone into so much detail on these that
Yeah, it's
you
like
know
we don't really need to. All I want to say is I'm excited about part five. Part five is coming out in July, I think. If
that
I'm
sounds right.
correct.
Yeah.
And it will be the Lamberts again. So that's gonna be fun to see
Excuse me.
what Renee and Josh and Dalton and all those kids, everybody's doing all the what they're doing now. I don't know how much further. I don't know how much further we go into their lives if this is like supposed to be like 6 years later, 7 years later, or something like that. But
Yeah, it
um,
just says a prequel film to part three, blah blah blah, and the story of this film will continue in part five.
uh,
So I'm
uh,
guessing it's just supposed to take place after part two at some point.
oh, okay. Oh, that'd be good. That'd be cool. I just
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know. I thought at the end of part two, they they got rid of them going being able to uh remember how they got into uh I guess their dream states and stuff. So I thought the whole point was like wiping their memory about it clean. So now, I mean, I don't know where they'll I don't know where it'll go, but that's
well
going to be the fun thing is figuring that out.
let me reread this because now I'm thinking. Okay, so it says so. This is part two. The film was released September 13th, 2023. A prequel film, Insidious Chapter 3, was released July 5th, 2015. And the storyline of this film will be continued in Insidious Fear the Dark in 2023. So it looks like they're continuing the story from part three.
Hmm.
I was thinking maybe,
It says on the Insidious Chapter 5 or Insidious 5, which it does call it Fear of the Dark.
yeah.
It says the Lamberts 10 years after the last installment as Dalton begins college. That's what the IMDb says is, the storyline.
Okay.
So, um, but sadly, it's a story by Lee Winnell. Oh, I keep forgetting who it's written by.
Yep.
Uh, oh, man. Firestarter and Halloween Ends. Oh, well, Halloween
Yep.
Kills, not ends.
It doesn't matter. They're still both bad. So,
Yeah.
and
Um,
Firestarter was god freaking awful. It's literally one of the worst Stephen King remakes ever. God, is that bad? It had like two good moments in it, and that was about it.
I'm
So,
not looking forward to that, but we'll have to do, and we'll talk about this on the show right now, but we'll have to do, because I know after we do a few more episodes, we're going to take a big break. And we're going to just, and then this series of films and stuff, this Mainstream Monday, we'll take a break. Then we'll be back in the summer, like late summer, early fall to finish up 20 more episodes and finish up have 40
oh,
episodes this season.
okay. So this is on Wikipedia for part five. The synopsis. This is from Sony. A little bit of what you said. Set 10 years after the end of the previous two films, Josh Lambert heads east to drop his son Dalton off at an idyllic. I'm not saying it right, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Ivy covered, Ivy covered, Ivy covered university. That doesn't okay. I
yeah.
guess as I think of like an Ivy League university,
I think
Ivy
it's Ivy
covered.
League it was supposed to be, but whatever.
Yeah. However, Dalton's college dream comes to a nightmare when the repressed demons of his past suddenly return to haunt them both.
Okay. So it
Yeah,
sounds
and
more
it's
like it. I mean,
July.
it said this about the development of it. Following the release and box office success of Insidious: The Last Key, a sequel entered development, producer Jason Blum expressed interest in a crossover with Sinister.
Yep.
On October 29, 2020, it was announced that a direct sequel to Insidious, Insidious Chapter 2, was in development with Patrick Wilson serving as a director in his directorial debut from a screenplay by Scott Teems based on a story by Lee Winnell. Wilson and Ty Simpkins will reprise their roles from the first two films. According to IMDb, Rose Byrne, I believe, is also returning. So I don't know if that, yeah, Rose Byrne and the kid who played Foster are all supposedly returning. I don't know if the girl is returning, like, or if there's a new, can't be the same, it can't be the baby. So I don't know who's playing. Remember the daughter?
Yeah, I
So
mean,
she's got to be
unless
back.
yeah, I mean, maybe they got the real actress because she's older now.
Maybe, or maybe they got a new actress to play her, because a lot of times that's what they do. Because a lot of times the
That's
babies
possible.
don't end up becoming regular actors, but maybe. If I were Jason Blum and I was like, hey, we're doing this movie 10 years after the, whatever, let's get the because it is 10 years after 2013 to 2023. So it's 10 years later, after
Yeah.
the Insidious Chapter 2. So I would be like, let's get the kid. She should be about 10 years old now. See if we can get her back, you know. So, why not? Why not ask? You know, worst comes to worst, the mother says, no, she's not
Right.
she's not acting anymore. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see who's in it and how it's done. And if it's this could be the movie that saves Scott Team's career, you know.
Well, failing upwards.
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird when you do a movie because it's really based on box office. It's not even based off whether like this is the only industry that I know of where you can like get promoted because well, I guess that you can get promoted anytime you make money, you know, but
Well, yeah,
you
look
don't
look at a
necessarily have to be good at your job.
look at Elizabeth Banks. I mean, she had a hit with what was it, Pitch Perfect 2. She bombed with Charlie's Angels, so that should have killed her career right there. And then they're like,
No,
"Yeah, we'll give you a Cocaine Bear." And she's probably like, "Fuck, Cocaine Bear," because she already said that she thought that film would destroy her career, and now it's resurrected her career.
yeah.
So they
Cocaine Bear for Academy Awards 2024.
I think so. I
Best
would not
Picture.
doubt it.
Best Picture nomination. Oh Lord. But see,
I
that
wouldn't doubt
actually
it.
makes sense now with the Academy because the Academy, everything everywhere all at once won. And so they're like, oh shit, the movies that like are outside of the box that people would normally think are going to be the ones that win the Academies. The ones that's winning the Academies, let's fucking Cocaine Bear. Let's just put that in there. People never watch that. And now there's Cocaine Shark and Meth Gator and tons of
See,
buffs.
that's another reason. Once they start doing all of these, mock-you films, then it's a hit.
hmm So maybe they should do like Sharknado. It's funny. It's funny was Elizabeth Banks was one of the first people that I saw on Twitter promoting Sharknado. She was on Twitter laughing at the fact that there's a movie called Sharknado. She said that is awesome, you
And
know.
then she makes Cocaine
And then
Bear.
she makes Cocaine Bear. So it totally makes sense. I don't know why she would think like that. I mean, I think she would think that Hollywood wouldn't love it, but I don't know why she'd be like
I
not
I
like,
I, I used to be a fan of hers until
I
Charlie's Angels, and then
yeah,
she just
I
shut
know.
up,
I'm
shut
kind
up.
of I'm liking her a little bit more now. A little bit more. Getting
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, just shut up, shut up. Why
But
can't these
you can say
people
that about
shut
almost
up?
everybody
It's
on
not just women, but it's men too. Just
no, I'm saying
shut
almost
up.
everybody on Twitter and shit. Just they all
Yeah, but if you're an actress and you're trying to promote, I'm sorry, you're a director who's trying to promote Cocaine Bear, don't go to an all women's like award thing and go, oh well, Steven Spielberg's never made a movie with a female lead.
was Cocaine Bear a female
No, but
bear?
Spielberg, yeah, was it a female bear? Ah, there you go. That we could catch her on. But then
Hmm,
somebody from the audience yells the color purple.
yeah.
And she goes, okay. It's like, why are you people so stupid?
I don't know.
Stupid. Why? And plus, why would you attack Spielberg? Like, what has Spielberg done to you? She is so pissed that she can't direct like a freaking Fast and the Furious or a Mission Impossible, and she is so angry that
I
she'll
don't
just attack.
necessarily know that that's true. Like
I think she is angry because she has talked about Mission Impossible several times about how she's not allowed to direct the Mission Impossible because she's a woman.
I don't
No, it
think
has
it's yeah, I
has
don't
nothing to do with her being a woman. It's that Tom Cruise has his core people. And he even thanked one of the, he even thanked Christopher McQuarrie at the Academy, not was Academy Awards, no, at the SAG.
I don't think he was at the Academy Awards from what I heard.
No, he wasn't. No,
He
it was
he
SAG, I believe.
boycotted it. I don't know why. Like why is
No,
he
from what I
boycotting
understand
it?
is I understand he's working.
Oh. Somebody told me he was boycotting it. I was like,
I don't think so.
why
I
the
think
fuck
he's
would he
working.
boycott it?
He
You know,
did give back his Golden Globes. He
why?
did that recently. Just didn't like how the stuff worked. He just didn't like the politics of it, I guess.
Okay.
So,
Well,
I mean and I know we're way, 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 way off topic with this,
I
but
mean, well,
I
at this
used to
point, it
be,
doesn't matter.
yeah, I used to be in love with Elizabeth Banks, and
And
I
I
when she
still
was doing all
am.
the Judd
I'm not,
Apatow
I
stuff,
don't,
and then she just, what the fuck is wrong with you?
yeah. I
Stop.
can't get mad at her because, you
How
know,
she blames you for Charlie's Angels bombing?
well, I mean, she can blame me all she wants. I
She's
didn't
an
go see it because
idiot.
it just didn't look interesting, you know?
And it wasn't aimed at you. And more men went to go see it because there's three hot chicks in it than women do. They actually did a percentage on
Well,
it.
I thought she said the men didn't go see it, and that was the problem.
She's yeah, but then they did a percentage.
Oh,
And they found out that more men went to go see the movie than women did. But yet
oh.
she's just like, oh well, men don't want to see female action heroes. And it's like, Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor. I
Didn't
mean, it's
Jennifer Lawrence once say she thought like she was like the first action hero or something?
once again, shut up. Yes, she did an interview where she said that she was the first female action hero. And Sigourney Weaver did a tweet saying, "Thank you for paving the way for me." Shut up. She is so dumb. Shut up.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it when
I can't. It just annoys
it
the
would be like if
fuck out
Jenna
of me.
Ortega said, "Oh, I'm the first scream queen ever," and then
I'm the
Jamie
first
Lee Curtis
Wednesday.
goes, "I beg to differ, and so
Yeah.
does my mom." You
Yeah.
know? Oh
I
Lord.
I just don't know why people are so dumb. Like Jennifer Lawrence complained that she didn't make as much money as men, but yet on Passengers she made, was it $2 to $3 million more than Chris Pratt did. It's like, what are you talking about? You make a ton of money.
I think I mean that's a thing though. Like so a lot of women don't get paid nearly as much. Now she might be
Try
the
making
exception to the rule at that point because
she was big at that point because of Hunger Games.
Hunger
So
Games, yeah.
and Chris Pratt wasn't as known. And then once, but then now with some recent projects where she's kind of been out of it and her projects aren't that good, that her she's gone down. And so she's like, well, now, I don't make as much money as men do. Then make a good movie.
Yeah.
It's
Like
very
get
simple.
back in the game, do another Hunger Games, you know.
Yeah, Demi Moore is I don't know if she still is, but she was the highest paid actress in Hollywood, and she was making like millions of dollars. She was making more
Nice.
money than some men were. So it's just these people need to shut up. Just shut up. Like your mother right there, yelling at people. That's how I feel.
She yelled, your name is Marilyn. Your name is not Parker.
Parker.
Even
But didn't
Parker is
she?
like a female name.
It can be. Well, Parker Posey,
That's what I'm saying. So, I
who's
mean,
in
it came,
Scream 3,
it was in Scream 3. So,
goes back
brings
to
it
one of
back to
our.
our, what we were talking about before, too, anyway.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, whatever. I mean, like, I don't understand why she got so mad at Parker. That's the name your father gave you. I'm like, oh,
The
okay.
man who impregnated me.
You know, mm.
So, all right, are we ready to wrap this up after our my rant, I guess? And
It's fair. It's a fair rant. You know.
I
All
just
right.
want people to be quiet. Just you're not supposed to know about these people's lives.
No.
That's why like MGM and all of them, they were all under contract. They were all told what to do and what to say. And that's probably, I think, the better way of doing it. We don't need to know the political opinions of actors.
Yeah.
We just don't, because most of them are stupid. So,
Well, it's sad with like things like TikTok or Twitter or whatever, where people just feel like they need to be in everybody's, face 24/7, or they'll, there's political figures, not saying any names, whatever, but they're male and female people on t TikTok all the time saying, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. I'm like, I don't care what you're doing. I don't. Are you passing a bill or something? That's what I care about. Get to your work. I don't care if you're doing beauty tips, Like this is not what you should be doing when you have an office. But that's the way we live our lives now.
well, and
Everything's
and
on
and I think that's why people like somebody like Tom Cruise, and why they call him the last actor, like the last real
movie
Hollywood star.
star, last movie
Yeah,
star.
is he had his crazy couple years, jumping on sofas and talking with Matt
I was
Lauer and
told
stuff like that.
I was told that he was actually told to do that. That
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 I
would get him
believe
some publicity.
it was his sister who was his
Yes, I think
that
you told me that
Paula,
maybe.
yeah, Paula Wagner and him parted ways. His sister took over as his manager, and that's when all the Scientology stuff came out. All of it.
Yeah.
Because he was pretty chill with it for a while. Then that whole thing came up with him where it was all crazy. And then she stopped being his manager, and he went back to just being normal.
Yeah.
So,
And now
and,
people are
and
like, oh, well, we love him.
yeah, and even his speech, which I think it was SAG, is when he was like winning like an achievement award or something, is that he praised Christopher McQuarrie. He said that that's his business partner.
Oh, there you
And
go.
and yeah, and it's like, sorry, Elizabeth Banks, but Cruz has his team.
Right.
I mean,
We don't,
get your own team.
but it wasn't his team in the beginning. It became his team. And then eventually he got the
Slowly but
right
surely.
people
Yeah.
as things were working out. Because originally, like even Shane Black did a Mission Impossible and stuff like that, and
Not Shane
whatnot.
Black, no. Shane Black did not.
I thought it was Shane Black. Didn't he?
No,
Who
no,
was
he
the
did
one who
not.
did it?
No, not Shane
No,
Black.
somebody. I swear to God.
First one was Brian De Palma. The second one is John Woo. The third one is J.J. Abrams.
Okay, well, J.J. Abrams, but what did I swear? Oh my God, I'm completely wrong. Fuck.
Yes, we are
Yeah,
talking
well,
about Tom Cruise here. So
I mean, who would?
my man crush. So
I know. So you know all this stuff.
yeah, I didn't watch
Okay.
anything from that award show. I only watched his speech, so which I thought was quite nice. I thought, it was like six
That was
minutes or
J.J.
whatever. And
Abrams. J.J. Abrams, really?
he saved the series. As much as I bag on J.J. Abrams, he saved the Mission Impossible series.
Look, I don't bag on him. Like I don't like. I like the dude. I think he's
I
made
don't.
some. I mean, I don't know him personally, and I don't care about his personal life, or
Fucking
whatever. But
mystery box bullshit.
I don't care.
Whatever.
But I liked a lot of his early, like a lot of his earlier work. I respect a lot of. I just don't like Star Trek, and
Or
stuff
Star
like
Wars.
or Star Wars necessarily. Well,
He did some
his
okay stuff. I like the Cloverfield stuff. I like
did you
Super
like
8 was
Lost?
good. I never watched Lost because I heard the ending was horrible, so I never bothered watching it. I also never watched Fringe because I heard that wasn't very good. But I mean, he did save Mission Impossible 3. I mean, he saved the series, so I would. There's a lot of people liked 2, but they were expecting better things from 2,
Yeah.
and
I
they
thought
did they
part two was
and
pretty
part
cool.
and part 2 is the I think the worst one.
Part two,
Um,
part two gave us the best Ben Stiller thing ever. Did you ever see that video where Ben Stiller's imitating Tom Cruise and he's like the stunt double, for Tom Cruise, and he's like, I want to call myself the stunt one ball, right? And he's just like he's acting crazy, and he's like, what if go with me on this, John? He's talking to John Woo. He's like, what if I we're going in our the helicopters going into the motorcycle, and I turn to the camera and I look at the camera and I go, this mission just got a hell of a lot more impossibler. What do you think? And John Woo looks at him and goes, get the fuck out. Like, get out, leave.
I'll have to look that up. Yeah, I don't know that one.
It was the funniest bit ever. I love that. Like, I'm sorry. I had to talk about that because Ben Stiller is my man. I love that dude. I still think he's hilarious.
He was
Um,
married to Marsha Brady. I got to give him that.
Man, I don't think of her as Marsha Brady. I think of her as, oh God, I can't remember her name from it. The Hey Dude. She was in Hey Dude. Melody from Hey Dude.
Once again, showing your age, sir.
I know. There you go. You're talking about Marsha Brady, but Marsha Brady that wasn't even the original the Brady Bunch. That was the movie Brady Bunch that
Yeah, and she looked like Marsha Brady, and she's hot.
uh,
Marsha Brady was always hot, and then she's even hot too. So yeah, I
yeah.
mean that's I mean so
But she was also an
we
anchor
should
man and a bunch of other shit. So no,
yeah.
wait, that was not. Nope. She was not an anchor man. She was in the other one.
Well, she's basically
Christina
in
Applegate
anything.
was in that. But
Yeah, she's basically anything with Ben Stiller.
yeah, so
So I think
Zoolander, I
she's in
think.
like
Yeah.
Dodgeball and Zoolander, yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, bye guys. We will see you
Yeah.
guys next
Bye.
week.
Hope you enjoyed us going completely off topic.
Yep. Enjoyed it. Bye guys. Later.
Bye.